When I say the word capitalism, what images spark in your mind? Would it be pictures of Wall Street? Images of the poor working their backs off in factories while the bourgeoisie relax and play golf? Or would it be your friend who wants to be a business person when they grow up and negotiate every single thing? Most people use the word capitalist to describe something unfair, but in reality, the original idea of capitalism is an economic system, a system which works, but ends up creating conflict and struggle between the people. So, capitalism as an idea has its roots traced back to 1200 AD, when merchants across China, India, the West African coast, and the Arabian Peninsula traded with the theory of mercantile capitalism in hand. Basically, they buy a product from a cheaper area and sell it in a place where the product is much harder to get. For example, you buy spices from India for one gold coin and sell it in South Africa for a bag of diamonds. By the 1800s, the idea spread to Europe and joint stock companies were created. These companies would sponsor the people who do the trading and get a share of that money. Now, some of these companies happened to be owned by governments, and these governments would use their armies to make trading easier. By easier, I mean they would conquer lands to lower the price of goods, because why purchase the goods when you're the supplier and the demander? Now, in 1776, a man named Adam Smith wrote this book called An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations. And while the title is very specific, the book ends up making history and is known as the book which invented modern day capitalism as an economic system. This book also started the wheels to turn a society driven by mercantile capitalism to industrial capitalism. Industrial capitalism is investing in machines and technology so we can increase production. Let's say there's a product that can edit videos better and faster than the current editor, which is impossible, and I have money. So while there might be some cost in, say, maintenance of this machine, I'll still buy it because then I'll release more videos and use the money generated to pay for maintenance costs. However, both mercantile capitalism and industrial capitalism have its drawbacks, but most of them are not on those who own the factories or ships, but on the people who work in those factories or sail those ships. For example, in mercantile capitalism, the ships carrying cargo may be invested by a rich person, but they usually won't have protection against pirates or storms. Yes, if a ship sinks, the person who invested in the ship would have a financial loss. But the people who were on board the ship working for minimum wage would usually lose their life. Same would go to people who were trading across land. They would find a pillager who would pillage their goods and their life. Not to mention, the rise of joint stock companies also saw the rise of imperialism, which saw nations across the world, such as India, being occupied by foreign countries like England. The human rights violations in these regions were never addressed properly to this day, but that's a topic for another time. Now, for industrial capitalism, the workers will be paid poorly to operate dangerous equipment. Along with that, there will be child workers who would usually end up dying from extreme working conditions, and a lot of unemployed people because their jobs just got stolen by a huge piece of metal. Now, let's get to the main part. Let's create a single definition of capitalism. When it was first used in 1854, it meant having ownership of capital. But today, in modern society, there's a different meaning used when you call yourself a capitalist. Technically, it means you support the ideas of modern day capitalism, the form of capitalism which is used across the world more than both mercantile and industrial. Now, an important policy in modern capitalism is that the economy should not be controlled or planned by, say, a government, but it should be a result of market forces. Now, the three main market forces are technological changes. For example, someone has finally discovered a cheap way to get unlimited energy. The energy market is going to favor that product over the others because it'll produce more capital and more power for a country or government. Socioeconomic changes. Carrying on the example, this unlimited energy product was put to test in the nation of Browstopia, and the people are living with a 100% happiness and crime rates are at zero. This will increase the need for this product, and every nation would want it. Finally, geopolitical changes. The unlimited energy machine ends up exploding from political espionage, and the need for the product goes down because everyone thinks it's a system failure, and nations don't want a repeat of an explosion to happen in their cities. Now, there's one thing which I haven't mentioned about modern day capitalism. This theory relies on people's self interest, meaning you have to care about yourself and the business more than the people who work under you. And as a result, modern day capitalism in our society ends up having the rich to poor ratio huge. Yes, while more businesses create more jobs, they usually won't be jobs that pay well for the amount of work done. Now, this problem is the reason for the creation of communism, where the workers care for each other and everyone is equal. The link to the video explaining communism is in the description. At the end of the day, capitalism is a theory which was originally perfect for a society where trading was still a primary way to get food on the table. Today, a society whose population continues to grow cannot prosper if only a few hold the money. But the other economic option is an option which could easily be manipulated and corrupted, causing more harm to the people. How can we solve this problem? Which theory would win? Find out in our next video. Thanks for watching our video. We hope you enjoyed it. This is the second part of our three-part series, which talks about communism and capitalism. And in the next video, we'll eventually find out which idea would be best for our modern day society. Please subscribe and share the video with anyone interested in this sort of topic. We would greatly appreciate it. Once again, thank you for watching, and we'll hope to see you next time.